You ever buy a pistol thinking it would finally settle the score, only to end up hiding it in the back of your safe, wishing you'd listen to that gut feeling? I've been there. Doesn't matter how many reviews you read, how many times the guy at the counter swears, "This one's solid." Sometimes the only lesson you get is the one that cost you. I'm not talking about cheap junk or obvious mistakes either. I'm talking about the guns everyone praises. The ones with cult followings and glowing magazine spreads. The truth? I've owned them. I've trusted the hype. I still got burned. Ever felt like you're the only fool who bought the can't-miss pistol that missed every damn time? You're not alone. Stick around because I'm breaking down the 5 pistols buyers keep regretting, even if they won't admit it. Miss this list, and you'll miss the ugly truth nobody else will tell you. I'll never forget the look on Jake's face the day he brought out his brand new Remington RP9 at the old range outside Katy. He'd been riding high for weeks, bragging about snagging a Remington, talking up the forums, quoting every reviewer who promised it'd punch above its weight, swore the name meant something, said this was Remington's comeback, and made a big deal about finally buying American. What a joke! That first mag should have been a warning. Trigger felt like it was full of gravel. Recoil snapped harder than it had any right to. But Jake kept pushing through. Second mag in, the slide stopped locking back, and the sights wobbled just enough to make you second-guess every shot. By the third, it jammed up on him. Twice. He tried to play it off, blaming the Texas heat or maybe the ammo, but geez. His voice got quieter each time. We wrapped up early. Jake barely spoke on the drive home, left the RP9 in his range bag, and I haven't seen him shoot it since. He's warned off everybody who even thinks about one. Now, every time I walk through a pawn shop in Houston or up in Waco, I spot another RP9 collecting dust behind the glass. You don't hear about those regrets online, just see them pile up, one disappointed owner at a time. I grabbed a Diamondback DB9 from a pawn shop off the highway near Abilene. Dusty glass case, price tag slashed to nothing. Nobody giving it a second look. Some guy almost took it, but I scooped it up on impulse. Didn't feel like a win, just a cheap gamble. Figured it couldn't be that bad for the price. About a month later, I tossed it in the car for a drive out to Arizona. Figured I'd let my buddy run it at his field. First shot was fine. Tried a quick double tap, and the DB9 choked. Slide just stuttered, didn't cycle. Had to tap rack to get it going. It never fully jammed, just hesitated every time I tried to shoot fast. Each squeeze, the gun felt more stubborn, like it was fighting every round. My friend shot a mag, handed it back with a half grin. "That's not a carry gun, that's a palm slapper," he said. Neither of us finished a second box. Gun rode home in the glove box, and I left it there. Since then, I keep seeing these same DB9s marked down in pawn shops, always waiting for someone else to roll the dice. And if you think that stung, wait till you hear what happened when I took a chance on a so-called trusted name. Thinking a big brand could never let me down, I picked the Springfield XD for carry because I was tired of running with the pack. Figured I'd finally outsmart the Glock guys. Wanted a pistol with safety features, reputation, something that had set me apart. Took it straight to a weekend defensive shooting class out near Stephenville, thinking I'd show everyone there's more than one way to trust your life to a gun. First few drills, no issues. Then things started to unravel. Magazine stuck halfway through a reload. Next string, feed failure. Nothing dramatic, but enough to make me pause. I cleared it, kept going, then the slide refused to lock back after the last shot. One of the old hands stepped in, gave me that look, and muttered, "That's why I stick with what works." The embarrassment hit harder than the malfunctions. I kept fighting the grip safety, fingers slipping, confidence dropping every string. By the time the firing pin retaining pin worked loose, I felt exposed. Gun never catastrophically failed. I just chipped away at my trust, piece by piece. Packed up early, left the range, wondering how many others have had their reliable XD leave them sweating, second-guessing, and wishing they'd stuck with the safe bet. But that sting goes deeper when the next gun's worn by cops and soldiers, and you're still left wondering what went wrong. You ever watch a gun with a spotless reputation get snapped up by people who never hear the full story, only to regret it when it's too late? I left Nevada thinking about that every time I saw another P320 head out the shop door. I spent some time with a cop buddy out in Nevada right around when the P320 was at its peak hype. Military contract, modular design, trigger that felt custom, every gun writer calling it a winner. The whole department jumped on board, guys bragging about their new sidearms, finally proud to ditch the old beaters. Then the headlines hit. Drop fire controversy, accidental discharge lawsuits, brass from the top telling everyone to turn them in. Suddenly, the same officers who couldn't stop talking about the P320 were lined up, trading them for anything else. Some grumbled, some just stared at the floor. My friend argued at first, said SIG had fixed everything, and for most folks that's true, but for a duty gun, for most isn't good enough. That tiny sliver of doubt never left him. Every visit after, his old P320 just sat in the locker, never his first choice again. The P320 still shoots great, feels right, and for plenty, it runs flawless. But I keep wondering how many folks buy the image, not knowing the full story until they're holding regret they can't undo. I bought the Taurus G3C thinking I'd crack the code. Finally found a budget pistol that wouldn't let me down. Reviews were glowing, friends swore it was a hidden gem, and every forum made it sound like the best deal in the case. I put over 1,000 rounds through it, holding out hope it would prove the hype. But when it failed ugly. The jam wasn't just a stovepipe or a simple misfeed. It locked up solid, right there on the range, and I couldn't clear it. Figured Taurus would make it right, so I filed a support ticket and waited. Weeks went by. Nothing but empty emails and excuses. Felt like shouting into the void. The gun was dead weight, and Taurus just left me hanging. Don't know if it's a Texas thing or just bad luck, but I finally gave up, dragged it to a local gunsmith, and paid out of pocket to get it running again. By then, any trust I had was long gone. I spent more trying to fix that G3C than I saved buying it cheap. When people ask if it's worth it, I don't sugarcoat it. Never again. Some lessons hit your wallet, some just burn you out, but this one did both. If you thought these 5 were bad, the bonus picks are the kind that'll make you wonder how they're still in anyone's rotation. Nobody wants to admit it, but here's the truth. I've scrolled through enough forums to know the M&P Shield Easy shows up everywhere. Pitched as the perfect starter, easy to rack, foolproof, and somehow immune to real-world problems. But dig around those Quora threads and Reddit rants, and a different picture starts to take shape. For every owner singing its praises, there's another quietly asking why their grip safety's sticky, why the mag keeps dropping, or how a gun built for simplicity can end up light striking or misfiring with regular ammo. Truth is, the last time I was at my local range, I watched 2 Easies choke back to back. One stovepiped, the other just refused to feed the next round. The owners looked baffled, poking at their mags and blaming ammo, but you could feel the trust leak out of the room. It made me pause, and I caught myself reconsidering. Do I really want to recommend a gun that's always got that much smoke behind it? Sure, there's plenty who swear by the Shield Easy. But when a pistol shows up this often in regret threads, there's fire under all that smoke. Yet folks keep picking them up. Sure, this one will be different. It rarely is. I already knew what the Desert Eagle was long before I ever touched one. It wasn't about specs or power. It was movies, YouTube clips, the legend every shooter talks about. I just wanted to feel that moment for myself, even knowing better. Then I finally fired it. The noise, the attention, that split second of pure payoff, yeah, it lives up to the myth, but only for a heartbeat. I looked down, hand buzzing, and realized I didn't care about taking another turn. Nobody else did either. The energy in the lane just faded, and before the mag was half empty, the novelty was gone. I slid it back into the case. Didn't even finish the box. The part nobody tells you. You buy a Desert Eagle thinking it'll feel legendary? you sell it realizing it's just empty. There's no mechanical failure, no jam, no drama. It just disappears the minute the moment's over. Not all failures jam or misfire. Some guns just let you down after the shot when there's nothing left but silence and a big bill that never turns into a memory. If you stuck around, you already know, sometimes the guns that look perfect from the outside turn out to be the hardest lessons. Maybe I saved you from wasting cash, or maybe I just handed you the courage to finally say, yeah, I got burned too. Doesn't matter how long you've been shooting. Regret catches everybody once in a while. I've chased hype, trusted the crowd, and still found myself wondering what went wrong more than I'd ever admit. So here's your shot. Call me out in the comments, defend your favorite, or drop the story that still stings. Don't let pride get in the way. The truth? Nobody's immune. Even the experts end up with safe queens and old regrets. I'm Steve. Stay sharp. The next mistake is always waiting, and trust is earned the hard way. Is earned.